Just make sure we pay attention and stay quiet and be respectful.
My book is Fair Isn't Always Equal, Assessing and Grading in Differentiated Classrooms by Rick Orpermelli. Just to start off on his life, he is a national board certified teacher that has taught science, math, and history, and English for 36 years. He's a New York Times best-selling author, a winner of the Disney's American Teacher Award in English in 1996. He's spoken in all 50 states, and other countries, including Canada, China, and Japan. And he won the 2008 James P. Garvin Award for New England League of Middle Schools for teaching excellence, service, and leadership. Personal life, he currently lives in Herndon, Virginia with his wife and his 2 children, one in college and one has recently graduated. He's currently working on a young adult fiction novel and a book on homework practices in the 21st century. Now, the major points of his book focus on 3 main topics: differentiation in the classroom, proper assessment of mastery and topics taught, and effective grading for students to succeed. Now, how do you pronounce that?
Differentiated.
Differentiated. And it is defined as doing what's fair for students. It's a collection of best practices that are best strategically applied to maximize students' learning at every turn, including giving them tools to handle anything that's undifferentiated. It's highly effective teaching. Examples: anytime that a teacher has extended a deadline for you, or has taken extra time out of his day or her day to help you out because the problem you don't understand is giving you an extra problem or maybe some extra credit, they're practicing differentiation. It's meant to help you to ensure that you can succeed. Now, as practice from the classroom, again, anytime a teacher has done anything that has gone beyond standard teaching, it is classified as differentiation. Differentiation.
Good.
Now, the biggest part of differentiation is one size does not fit all. If you remember back to your ACT, whenever we all had to take that at some point, you ever say to yourself, or maybe to your friends, if I had 10 more minutes on the science section, I'd have gotten a higher score. Everyone remember that? Because I know I said it several times. Now, you look at the ACT, and that is a highly one-size-fits-all kind of test. You see, there is no extra time given for anyone who takes that test. Either you do it in 35 minutes, or you don't do it in 35 minutes, and then that's your final grade. So you're setting everyone on equal ground, equal footing, giving everyone an equal chance to do well. But is it fair? And that's what the entire point of his book is about, on how being fair may not always be equal. And this is especially shown when he shows differentiation.
Slow down, though.
Differentiation. Differentiation.
Good work.
Thank you. It's a effective teaching in the classroom. However, the biggest part about it is we're not making it easier for you in class. We still have to challenge you as our educators without holding your hands or coddling you. And that is a big part in this book. Now, let's look to the world real quick. Now, this is the most recent statistics I found, but they're always fluid, so they change every year. But as of 2016, the United States ranks 14th out of the 40 tested countries in education. We're ranked 24th in literacy, 25th in math, and 17th in science. So are we practicing a differentiated classroom? It doesn't really seem so. So let's look at our spending, though. We are in the top 5 spending on education. We're up there with Switzerland, Norway, Sweden, and all the Swedish countries, and the nether region countries. But if we spend so much money, why are we not at the top? We're in the middle. It really makes you think. Does throwing money at a problem truly solve it? Doesn't seem so. So let's take a look at Finland. Real quick. They are currently ranked number 2, last I saw, in statistics worldwide in education. And they're ranked in the top 3 consistently for the past 10 years, I believe, on education.
Nice to meet you. We are really delighted to be here and to not only see the schools, but also ask you a lot of questions about, what the Finnish education system is like and how. If you spend 3 hours or so in a school, as we did this morning, you saw real relationships and real respect between administrators and teachers. You also see really small enough class sizes so that there's a real differentiated instruction. So all the things that we say are important in terms of instruction for kids. Not simply having a teacher in a classroom not simply having a smart board or books, the wraparound services, starting with daycare facilities and early childhood.
That preschool is really a child-centered facility.
Yes.
You see the attention paid to the
That's
experiential learning.
Yes.
And that the buildings are retrofit for kids.
Thanks to the OECD PISA data, it shows that Finland is performing better than the average, yeah? We have been passing everybody else. What did we do to make this possible? Our policy of teachers is, again, very different to many other countries. First of all, we insist that every teacher in Finnish school has to have master's degree. All the Finnish teachers have to be treated like professionals. When people ask me that, how do you know in Finland that your students are learning in school? And I always say that ask the teachers, they know. Just like you ask the medical doctor if he or she thinks that the patients are doing well.
Working as a teacher in Finland, it's really something nice. And when we get the appreciation for our work, that's even better.
Teachers are appreciated in this country.
You feel it.
Yeah, I do.
Alexander?
I think it's a general atmosphere that teachers are valued and the profession is appreciated in all society, and we have a good education to become a teacher.
Teachers' professionalism means something. You see it in the school, you see that it's real. But what the teachers also talked about was the pride that the community has in its teaching force. And you can see it in terms of the pride that the kids had in their teachers, as well as the confidence that the teachers had when you walked into their classrooms.
So this is my main subject, psychology.
We are trying this work in two different schools.
Yeah.
This class and a school quite near Vaasa.
One teacher in particular was talking about a new textbook and had called the publishing company about it, and they were changing it based upon what her suggestions were. So that just blew me away, because here she was talking as if this happens every day.
20 lessons a week.
20 lessons.
Yes, but they work another 20, preparing lessons and marking papers and so on. So it's not only teaching hours. They have other duties as well.
The number of teaching hours, there's almost a 50% difference between the teachers in Finland and in the United States. What are they doing when your teachers are sweating in the classrooms? They're working on their curriculum development, they're working with parents or consulting students or so on.
But if they don't have their own classroom, then they can also working here, and then they have some spaces.
This is so different than in the United States, where teachers actually have their own office space, they have their own lockers, they have computers here, they have phones here. There's a professionalism about this that you just never see for teachers in the United States.
If you go to Finnish school and say that mathematics, reading and science are the most important subjects, they will kick you out, because this is not the way we understand learning.
You saw the integration in terms of content areas, whether it be cooking and art and music and industrial arts and calculus and literacy. And you saw the integration between technology, human interaction, and textbooks. When we talk about how there's no one-size-fits-all, you saw that clearly in the schools that we saw today.
This whole business of education is run by the educators. And that's why the communication and dialogue within this community is very different.
Really, really appreciate the time. Thank you. What is so obvious about the education system in this country is that people are engaged in problem solving, not in winning arguments. The notion that somebody is an obstacle is just irrelevant here. It's not even part of the conversation. The conversation is always about how can we all together help children. They assume that teachers should be the center of a child-centered education system, and they work to make sure that teachers have what they need to accomplish their task of educating a country.
So important things to take away from that. First of all, it all seems to start...
Here in the United States, we love to brag about being number one. Except when it comes to education, that is, where we regularly rank around 37th in the world.
Do you need that open?
No.
Maybe it will.
But, so it all begins back to where the teacher is, what the teacher can and can do. Where's that? Now, it wasn't shown in the video, but I watched a different video. In Finland, they have 3 teachers per classroom. You have 2 teachers that act as educators, and a 3rd teacher that walks around and helps the students in need, in trouble, that seem to have struggling with problems or anything along those lines. You don't really see that here, do you? That's not something that's very common. So it really goes back to how we as educators can work in our own classroom. So, and even she said it, the one-size-fits-all does not work within a differentiated classroom. Now, it also works a lot of how educated a teacher is. They have to have a master's degree to even educate, all of them. Whereas, I don't know if y'all seen it, but I see it around every now and then. On the bulletin boards that are all across campus, you always see one piece of paper that says, learn how to be a teacher in 18 hours. So, all of us, we're doing what? Spending 4 years learning how to teach. Dr. Picard, how long did you learn how to spend?
I'm still learning.
Still learning.
Not done yet.
We never quite learn how to be the best teacher. We're always learning something new. But you can learn how to be a teacher in 18 hours here at State. A little strange, isn't it? That makes you wonder. It makes you look back to your old teachers. Maybe they were educated with only 18 hours and they're the ones teaching you. You can love them. They can be great teachers. But are they qualified to teach you? That's the real question. And then we look at integration of content areas. As you can tell, there's no teacher which is up there on the board just writing aimlessly and hoping that you could memorize the problems or memorize vocabulary. They're all working together with integration between technology, textbooks as you said, and human interaction. That is what a differentiated classroom does. It is not set to one mean. It is set to various different focus points to all help students of everyone learn, of every background and education learn. So why does it matter? It's proven to be highly effective for educating students. It fits with the title, fair is not always equal. And then you see down there, for fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. A little harder to have an elephant climb a tree, or a fish, or a donkey, or a penguin, yeah, and a bird. And then you see, I think I got this one from Jill, the one over there. They're all set there equal, but is that fair? You give them all the same starting point, but where they're at now, they can't even tell. So you look at it in terms of unifying diversity. You have to be willing to work from everyone from different backgrounds, from different economic statuses, all that to educate them. If a student who does well on tests but isn't that good at doing work, what do? I mean, that's great that they know how to do a test, but they don't do your work. Or vice versa, a student who does all your work but is not good at taking tests. Do you pass them? Do you fail them? You can't do a one-size-fits-all. But what does it mean to us? So it's our job to give them opportunities to succeed. But do we look at their home life, cultural background, economic background? Do they even have access to food? I don't have a statistic, but I looked it up a while ago. The amount of people that are on, like, especially in Mississippi, who are on assisted lunching, like that they can't pay for lunch, it's extremely high here at the state. Some of these kids can't even eat, and how can they even function without their food? So you have to think about that while you're even educating people. Now we all assume students are the same, so we can ensure they all succeed. We have to help them and we challenge them. We don't just shrug our shoulders and pass them on. And we're the ones who have to help them. Ramelli says that differentiation provides focus. It's a compelling and highly effective approach as equal parts technical dexterity and professional can-do attitude. Students rely on us to teach them in the best and most effective way possible. Now let's move on to the next topic, mastery. Now it's very hard to say, to explain mastery, because it's so different to a lot of different people. Some people can say that they're a master at playing tennis, or perhaps a master of writing papers, or anything along those lines. And in their minds, maybe they are. But how can you even tell that beyond just asking them? Now, Ramelli states that students can really understand a topic when they can demonstrate proficiency with each other in the following aspects. They can explain it, interpret it for others or other situations, apply it, acknowledge